it's all about putting the power back into each one of us. And I want people to recognize that they really have more control over their lives than they may think.
Welcome to the Love After Lullabies podcast. I'm your host, Miranda, alongside my other host.
And I'm Aaron. Thanks for being here.
So we're going to do a little bit different episode this week, and we recorded this back in July. Mm-hmm. And I only remember this because I was editing and I noticed my nails were red, white, and blue. So it had to have been around 4th of July time.
Yeah, you're always rocking some good nails.
I am now.
Yeah.
It's my new thing, you guys. It's my new thing. We spoke with Jackie Ortez, who is a Reiki Master. She also does intuitive readings and has spirit communication, so she does sessions with folks. And interestingly, she works a lot with moms. So we talk about that and that practice, and we also talk about body image and weight loss journey and healing journey in your body, and it's all tied together.
Yeah, it's all the energies, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, that's why I remember it was in July, because Jackie came out with an episode also with her podcast talking about body image and weight loss and different things, and we kind of connected on that level. So there's some good conversation around that.
Yeah, so let's dive in.
So I just listened to the podcast episode from March.
Okay.
Where, Aaron, you spoke about your weight.
Oh, yeah.
And your journey. And I really think it's interesting because I think the episode you listened to of me was talking about my weight. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that could be a really good thing to talk about, because a lot of people don't think about the fact that it's not just eating, it's not just exercise, it's trauma stored in your body, it's the story that you always tell yourself through the years. And I wrote down some like fun facts, I say, but facts about like how much the weight loss industry makes.
Yeah.
Which is like billions of dollars, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's been so much of a fight to like push through like new medications and new ways of thinking, that it's not just calories in, calories out. Mm-hmm. Because they make so much money off of it. Mm-hmm. Just the industry, not even the pharma we're talking about, just the industry of losing weight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I read and I've known this for a while, like Noom and Weight Watchers and stuff. The whole psychology behind it is not to actually help you lose weight, is to keep you in that loop of restrictive eating, then losing, then gaining, then losing, then gaining. And it just makes them so much more money. It's really similar to dating apps, where dating apps don't actually want you to meet somebody. They want you to stay on the dating app. So the algorithm like fucks it up for you and shows you people you're actually not compatible with.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's deceitful. I didn't even think about that kind of situation. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, as someone who's still single, like I've had like I would like to say love-hate relationship with the dating apps, but it's a hate-hate relationship with the dating apps.
Do you feel like the algorithm for the dating app is more, I mean, it probably has changed over the years, I would assume, but I would assume now it's more geared toward hooking up. Like they want you to find, the algorithm wants you to find somebody that you like enough to hook up with them, but come back to the app, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I agree with you that it definitely is more like a hookup, but I think it's also, and this just like came and popped into my head, it's almost like the dating apps are set up to make you compromise more and think you're going after what you want, so it won't wind up being successful. And I do think in the beginning they were really well intended to have people meet and everything. And I know people that have met their husbands off of dating apps and everything, but it is not the same it was 10 years ago.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I also liked your episode. That is, Miranda sent that to me, and she's like, "Hey, this person's going to be a guest on our podcast. You should listen to this episode." And it hit home for sure. Especially looking back of the body shaming, myself shaming when I was heavier, but also now that I've lost some weight, it's like a whole nother world of the same kind of like body dysmorphia and, you know, the way I look at myself, and it's a wild world.
Yeah.
It really is. And I made that episode out of like a rage that I had that day. Like, I was like, I am so sick of this yo-yo. Like, I am such a successful woman. I do the podcast. I've been running the spiritual business. I work full time. I have supported myself for 15 years on my own, like doing everything. I just made this huge decision to move without really knowing anybody to Maine because I felt like that's what I needed to do. But like, everything is always overshadowed by what I look like. And I consider myself an attractive person, but like, I have a lot of fluff. I have some fluff on me. And I've known it for years that it's not just the eating and the exercise that it is. It's the feeling safe in my body. And when I listened to your episode, I was like, oh, I can see how, especially when you were talking about you went from being this underweight kid to all of a sudden your body changing and you being like, whoa, what happened? I was like, oh, that's when he started not feeling safe in his body, because he was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
But
and
yeah,
now I get to have 30 years of that feeling. That's and I remember reading or listening to some podcasts during my weight loss journey, and more, I don't even want to call it a weight loss journey. Like healing my body and like just kind of like being in touch with what it is to lose that kind of weight. But there's certain times where you go through burning the fat that you've stored for so long, and it comes with the emotions come out of it because you've stored that energy in those fat cells for so long. And so I just find that a really interesting concept of you're gonna feel a lot of emotions, and some of that's being dug up from a long time ago, that being stored.
Yeah, 100%. We love to store emotions in our bodies that we can't process. And it usually goes into our sacral chakra, which is like your lower abdomen. And that's why sometimes like women have puffier lower abdomens. Even men do sometimes. Yeah, me too. Because that's where. And then it also affects like your hip joints. It affects, as a woman, affects your menstrual cycle. It affects so much. But I related to your story like unbelievably, because in high school I was not overweight, but I had hips and I was developing. And I remember my senior year of high school, I was on Slim Fast for probably half of high school, half of that year, as a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And no one thought anything of it because I graduated high school in 1999. So it was the 90s. Everybody was always on a diet, and my mom was always on a diet growing up too, and talking about her weight and how she felt self-conscious. And then my dad would gain a little bit of weight, and then he'd lose it in like 3 fucking days. Like stopping eating bread or something. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. We graduated around the same time. 99, 2000 was when we...
2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the year 99, 2000, yeah. But yeah, it's, and not only were you drinking Slim Fast, but there's probably people that were like, oh, I'm so proud of you for trying, you know?
100%. They're like, oh my God, you look so good. And I was like, well, first of all, I was hiding my body in like baggy clothes forever. And now I just finally started wearing tighter clothes. And I was like, my body probably didn't even change that much. But yeah, everyone's like, oh, you have your Slim Fast. And it's just like, it's such a mind fuck of how we grew up in the 90s and what was accepted compared to now. It's just, it's really crazy.
Yeah, my mom would constantly talk about her body as well in a negative light. And that's something like, as a parent of 2 daughters, I'm very aware of never to like talk negatively about my body in front of them. You know, I do have a bigger belly, and my kids call it my bougie belly because it's like soft and, you know, bougie is what they call it. Like, so they like it. And I'm trying to digest that and accept that for myself too. But
I totally understand.
You talk about it as like a sense of pride too in front of them because you grew and created 2 children there.
Yeah.
I hear you make conscious efforts to not speak negatively about your body around the kids, and I appreciate that, and you could tell that that means something to them too, even though they don't know it yet.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's really, you should be very proud of yourself for even making those efforts, because it's such a easy thing to let it slip out of your mouth, being like,
Right.
oh, my stomach, like, oh, I don't like getting this stress. And you know what I mean? So that's really good. But I had a funny story that me and my mom laugh about now, but I was traumatized when I was a child. So I had like a eat everything on your plate growing up also. But I have, it's interesting because I have a mix of both of you, where I ate everything. I ate like chi beans, like chickpeas, lentils, fish. Like I liked all of that stuff growing up. But there was this one dinner that I remember so clearly. And I guess I was in a phase of not liking like fish fillets or something. I was probably like 8 or 7. So I'd put the fish in my mouth and then go to the bathroom and like spit it in the garbage and put toilet paper over it. And I was like, there's only so many times I could get away going to the bathroom and doing this. So we had ice cream for dessert, and my mom was like, you can't have the ice cream until you finish your fish. So I was in the kitchen. She shut the light off, and it was just like the stove light. And then she's like, fine, you won't eat the fish. She took an ice cream cone and she put the fish in the ice cream cone. And she was like, well, will you eat it now? And yeah. So I remember, we laugh about that now. We do. Because she's like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? But it stuck out. Like I can still like, it's funny because I can see myself from a different perspective, like sitting at the kitchen table with the dim light, with this like ice cream cone of fish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up with that too. And it was just, our parents were a product of their parents. And that's what it was. It was like, you have food, you do not waste. And it totally goes against like the whole mindfulness eating and intuitive eating that everybody's trying to do now.
Yeah. We struggle with that too. I think given our different experiences growing up, I was a kid that also ate everything. You know, there was only maybe 2 things that I didn't like. So I was having that as a framework in raising kids, one of which is very, very picky. That reminds you of you as a child. And how to parent that is so difficult because we don't want it to be like, you have to eat this and then you can have that. But we talk about balance of, well, you can't just have ice cream for dinner. Like you have to have a balance of protein and carbs and fiber. And, you know, so I'm hoping that message gets across for them, but it's hard, you know, because I'm in the place of, you got to eat something to like fuel your body. Whereas Aaron will kind of go into a place of like, well, if you're done, put your plate away, you know? So that's a struggle,
It's
but
a struggle.
Hopefully we're managing it okay. Yeah,
You're
tough.
doing the best you can. I mean, your kids, everyone's going to end up in therapy eventually anyway.
Right.
Like, you could do the best job in the whole world, and they're like, they made it too perfect, and now we can't live like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, everyone's a different person. Everyone has, like, trauma and memories and the way that they remember them and whatever. As long as you're, what matters is the effort that you're making and the intention and the energy behind it. And then, you know, you can't drive yourself nuts.
Yeah, definitely.
So this goes full circle into why we do our podcast as well is, you know, nobody, you know, you create a life together before kids, and then you have this experience of kids and everything changes and your love changes with each other and your new babies. And then you're tasked with like raising this child and with all these different nuances. And so we've read a lot about what you offer, and you've talked about giving advice for expecting parents, and kind of tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to us.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I do not have children, but I feel like it also offers me a unique perspective outside of the circle of having children. I tell my mom this sometimes because she always talks about how she worries about me, my brother, and my sister. And I was like, I don't know what that's like. I don't know, like, you know how everyone talks about like the love once, like the new type of love that you get once you have a child. I don't know what that's like. So it almost helps me help the parents more.
Okay.
And that has always been my focus. So I've been doing this work for 8 years now, since 2017, like officially as a business. But I started with just trying to empower people and focus on things that they might not realize that they're doing that's hurting themselves and their life and making their life more difficult. Because I truly believe that we are all our worst enemy. Like, no one's a worst enemy to any of us except for ourselves. Like, you know, we can beat ourselves up better than anybody else in the world. I also believe that energy has such a big part in how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about our homes. So working with like Reiki and someone coming to me, my explanation of what Reiki is and how it can help a person and just their whole family is basically we're all holding energy from other people and situations. And when that happens, and the energy gets trapped into our aura, we can think in ways that isn't how we usually think. Like, we can doubt ourselves more, or we can make decisions from a place of fear instead of a place of love. So coming to me and doing Reiki, which is either in person in Maine or virtually, I can help you lift that cloud of this extra energy from other people so you can focus on yourself again and you can think straight. And that's the easiest way I can explain it. So much more goes into it. Like, I always have communication from spirit as well. Like, your spirit guides, sometimes some people that have passed come through as well to give like advice or just for people to know that they're there. But my whole approach is focusing on yourself in order to make your whole world better. And the interesting thing I found is the women, like the mothers, are usually the center of the whole entire universe. So if the mother is unbalanced, overworked, like overtired, which obviously is going to happen, taking care of children is like, it's part of the reason why I decided I don't want any, because I've worked so hard on taking care of myself. I couldn't imagine being so selfless and taking care of a child. All the women, all the mothers I know have like, I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, I admire all of you with the strength that you have, and the fathers too. But you know, in the beginning, it's a lot with the mothers. But like, the mother is like, I think it's called like the nucleus, right? The middle of everything. So your mood affects the whole household. So if the mother is feeling bad, then it like, and overwhelmed, then it like pings with her reaction to somebody else. And then I'm like, oh, she just responded to me. And then it's like the children feel it and the husband husband, wife, whatever, feels it. So I love working with mothers to make sure, like, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, like, I know a lot of people disconnect by being on phones. I'm like, take that 5 minutes that you would normally be on your phone. Even if you still want to be on your phone, go outside. Go outside, away from each other, away from everybody. If it feels like weird not having your phone at first, just take it into the backyard. Do some deep breathing while you're scrolling TikTok, Instagram, whatever, recipes or whatever you're doing. And then eventually, like, do that every single day, just 5 minutes. Put a 5-minute timer on, and then eventually like leave your phone inside and really see like, how is your body feeling? Like, get connected, get grounded, because it's all about putting the power back into each one of us. And I want people to recognize that they really have more control over their lives than they may think.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's almost like exposure therapy, where it's you're doing little bits at a time. You don't have to make this giant shift. It doesn't feel overwhelming, but it's enough to kind of break away from some of those patterns and habits that we fall into. Yeah,
and I'm all about simplicity. I am not about, listen, wake up before your kid and do this like 10-step thing. No, you do it when you can, and you do it like within your boundaries, but you push yourself just a little bit, and then you're like, oh, I was able to do that. And then you move on to the next step and you push yourself more. And it's interesting because through the years, I've gotten so many pregnant women come see me, and I just think it's interesting because I'm like, do not want to have kids. But it always comes like full circle. I've worked with children too in person and done like meditations with them and talked to them about clearing energy. And it's just, I don't know. I just love working with people and helping them. And I've been told before that I'm, one of my missions on this earth is talking to me and interacting with me almost like awakens the soul in other people to be like, hold on, I can do this. Because I'm not, I don't know if it's not because I'm like, you probably would never know I do what I do by the way that I talk, because I'm not like woo-woo, but I can also get really freaking weird.
Love
At the same time and talk about like interdimensional beings that I talk to. So it depends on the person. But yeah, it's like an overall of what I do, and then I have the podcast that I like absolutely love.
Nice.
Yeah, we were just talking about how we like your branding, and just the podcast in general is really good.
Did you know that nearly 70% of couples struggle in their relationship after having a baby? But it doesn't have to be that way. Through my coaching programs and mini courses, I'll help you and your partner strengthen communication, rebuild intimacy, and feel confident tackling challenges together as they arise. You've spent so much time preparing for baby. Now it's time to prepare your relationship. From private coaching, programs, and digital courses, I've got you covered. Visit www.loveafterlullabies or check the link in the show notes to join us today.
Thank you.
For our listeners and for me, because pardon my ignorance on it. So Reiki, is it different than meditation, or does it go hand in hand? Can you explain a little bit more about what that looks like?
Yeah, it can totally go hand in hand. Like Reiki is calling in like a life force energy into you. So that's what the practitioner does. You go through like a little bit of training, you have your attunements, and then your crown opens up and you can channel life force energy through you. So it goes through my crown into my heart and out of my hands. So it's important to know that, because I'm not using my own energy to help you. And as a practitioner of energy, you never want to use your own energy to help people, because it just, you get the entanglements, you get attachments from them. It really like wears on you. So anyone can do Reiki. It does not matter. It could be like Joe Schmo alcoholic uncle can get attuned to Reiki. Like it's not like a special like I was picked and blah blah blah, but it's really cool because once you do Reiki, all your other abilities that you naturally have, which every single person on this earth is psychic, every single one, we all have that ability, everything opens up more. And it's like almost like this extra layer to life opens up, because then you're like more aware of energy and you're like, okay, this is happening in the news, that's not real. Like your intuition like kicks in a lot more. Meditation is also, it's from my understanding of meditation, so you know someone else can understand it differently, it's your energy and it's like your aura opening more up to the spirit world. So you can be in a place of peace. And so your body can be in a place of like what we came from, like the same type of energy like that. And that can definitely help you release energy as well, like on your own. But I always do Reiki on myself, and I still like, even tomorrow I have a session with someone to do it on me, because you know, you don't always want to think about it while you're doing it. You want to just like lay there and do it. But yeah, was that thorough enough?
Yeah, that's super interesting. Yeah, I've never had that experience before, but it sounds great.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, the one thing I can say is after a Reiki session, you're going to want to go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Because all the energy that's removed from you, you're going to feel so relaxed that if you ever get one, do not plan to do crap for the rest of the day. Just be like, take an Epsom salt bath afterwards, drink a ton of water to detox. That's it. That's all you want to do.
All right. Okay. Well, I know what I'm doing for the next like splurge day or like date day or something. That sounds great.
You should really try it. It's like life-changing, and we really don't realize how much energy we're carrying from other people and from the world, especially right now.
Yeah.
With like the undertone of the world being so serious. But it's all for the greater good. Like, there is so much good happening. All the crap has to come up first. And like, I don't even know what's going to happen by the end of the summer, but we'll probably experience, like, not that we haven't experienced 27 things this year. That has never happened. And in the past few years, but it's going to be pretty serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My cousin does Reiki, Candace. And so maybe she could do some Reiki on us in a couple weeks.
We're going to go see them soon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You totally should. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is amazing.
That's awesome. Well, I really do appreciate you talking about what we did in the beginning. It was really vulnerable for me to share those things, and I'm going to put out a couple more episodes about it. But I've had several people reach out to me online, and a couple friends that I don't talk to much anymore, talk about how much it meant to them. And again, it's talking about energy and clearing things out. Like, that's really helped me clear those things out. And I think to continue to talk about it and make it normal will helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. People love being able to relate because we all have those feelings inside. We all have experience, even if it's not with weight, people can still relate, like, another experience that they have had to that. And I understand, because before I released that episode, I sent it to 3 people and I was like, look, this is really vulnerable of me. I'm not sure I want to release this because it's really personal. And every single person came back and they were like, you have to talk about this. They're like, you have to release this, because people are not only going to relate, but it brings up the fact that you hold the trauma in your body, and it's not just what the doctors say. And I have had some really crappy experiences with doctors when I wasn't even really overweight. I was just like maybe like 20 pounds over. I went to my, I guess, general practitioner, and a few months before I was like having a lot of anxiety. So she put me on Lexapro, and which is fine. Like, I take anxiety medication now. But then I went back to her like 2 months later, and she looked, this bitch looked me in the face, and she goes, you are too pretty to be as overweight as you are.
No.
And she put me on what was the version of Fen-Phen at the time. She put me on the diet medication. And she was like, take this. And it was in like 2009, I think this was. And I was not overweight. I was not. And I was like, you just put me on anxiety medication. And now you're giving me diet. I never went back to her again.
Yeah.
Never went back to her. She was at my friend's wedding, ignored her existence. I was like, I don't want to hear from you ever again.
Yeah.
Like, how rude is that?
What a trusted person to say some shitty thing like that to you as well. And the fact that the medication that she gave you also deals with, has a side effect of weight gain too. So I was like, she's well aware of that.
Yeah. I think that's the most common insults that people have given me through the years, is that I am too pretty to be as overweight as I am. And it comes from women, it comes from men. It's just the audacity that people have to say it to your face. Like, I was dating this one guy, he looked me dead in the face, and again, I was not overweight. I was in college. And he was like, he's like, I'd rather have a pretty face than a perfect body in my partner anyway. I was like, you are so short. He was so short. I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But it's, that stuff still, it's in my head.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And it is hard. It is hard to to deal with. I really think it's part of the reason why I've been single for so long as well. So it's just, we're all, healing is never like one and done, man. It's like you heal the first level and then something else comes up, and like a memory from when you were like 18 pops up and you're like, where the hell did that come from? I don't want to think about that anymore.
Yeah.
When somebody comes to you for healing purposes and Reiki and what have you, before you start, do you have them kind of like picture what energy that they want to release? Like,
Yeah, do they know like exactly what it is, or?
No, I do it in a very different way, because I've heard, I'm really into talk therapy as well. Like, I think there is something with it. So what I do is people will come in and I will be like, okay, is there anything physically or emotionally right now that you're dealing with? Is there anything you just want to like vent about for a few minutes and just release? And they'll start to think about it, and I'm like, no, you don't have to think, like just whatever pops into your head, because it's also really helpful, because while they're talking, I start to get that connection to energy, and I start to like really hear what's happening. Like their words will tell me one thing, and then spirit's like, there's so much more behind this. This is something else. Like, I'll never forget, I'm still friends with her, but she came to me 8 years ago. And this woman was just sitting there. She's like, everything's fine. I feel like this. And I was like, oh God, there's so many layers beneath that. And then right before she got on the table, she was like, yeah, my husband's been annoying me. And spirit was like, that's it. That's what the issue is, her husband. And after she got off the table, because I kept getting like the messages and stuff, I was like, so tell me more about your husband. And she always says it too. She's like, Jackie knew exactly what it was. So I have them talk a little bit before, and then afterwards, since they're in such like a deep relaxation state, I take, like if we're in person, I take your phone and I'll press like the voice notes and I'll record our entire conversation of me talking to you, to give like messages and everything, because you're not going to remember crap.
Right.
And I want you to really get the full benefits of the situation. Online, if it's a reading, I'll record it. But if it's Reiki, I'll talk to you before, we disconnect, and then I send you a voice note with everything that I found. And then I allow you to send me questions. Like, everyone has my phone number, so they can text me afterwards if something came up that they had questions about.
Yeah.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah. What a great field to be in. I mean, is this something that you always kind of knew deep down, or did you kind of stumble upon it?
Well, I grew up as a very, very mean bitch, which is part of the reason for my sister named the podcast. Which is, I texted her, I was like, I'm finally going to do a podcast. What should be the name? It took her like 0.5 seconds to reply back, the healing bitch. And I was like, okay, done. But I grew up as a very mean person, because I was so hurt inside, and I had so much anger and so much anxiety. And I would use my abilities of knowing things about people to jab at them and to make fun of them and to make them feel as horrible as I did. So I didn't know that was an ability. I just thought like I had a really good sense of people's characters. But through the years, I got into The Secret. In like the late 2000s, I started reading The Secret, and I was like, okay, let's start to like test the energy and work with the energy of the world. And then I found this book that was called E Squared by Pam Grout, and it has all these experiments that you can do to prove that energy like bends to your will, and what you focus on is what presents itself in life. And then I went through a really difficult time. And it was in an 18-month period that I had a nervous breakdown. Then I moved from Brooklyn back to New Jersey, rebuilt my entire life, got into a car accident, was in a relationship. I just lost myself, was having complete panic attacks. And I started to go to Reiki because I heard my cousin had been going. And the woman kept saying to me, she's like, you're not being truthful with yourself. You're not being honest with yourself with what's going on, because I just thought I needed this like normal life that we've been told about, like the husband, the kids, the marriage. And I was like, I'm 34. When's it going to happen? And I was with this guy who didn't want to be with me, but I was almost like forcing him to be with me at that point. And I didn't even like him that much.
Yeah.
It was just like, no, I don't want to be single again. But then me and him eventually broke up. I started seeing the person that became my Reiki teacher. And the first thing he said to me when I saw him was, the reason why you keep losing your job and the reason why life isn't working out is because you're supposed to be doing this. He's like, you're supposed to be having a spiritual life. So it was like smack in the face, like someone telling me. And I was like, you're full of shit. I need money. I don't have a job. Like, I can't do that. And then I learned Reiki 1. I was 35. It was the day before I had to move back into my parents' attic at the age of 35. So I was a disaster because I just gotten out of the relationship. And it was just like, after that weekend, I was like, this feels like home. Like this energy feels like home. And it's just grown from there. And I was like, okay, I guess I am supposed to be doing this. So I just kind of, I am the type of person that will leap first and like figure out the parachute later. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to take Reiki 2 and start to open the business and start to take clients. And I made 500,000 mistakes in the years, but I'm really happy that I just 100% went for it.
Yeah, that's great. And I was also reading that you sometimes will receive messages from ancestors or other spirits. I'm very curious if that's something that just comes to you as it comes, not necessarily like, okay, we're going to try this thing today. I mean, what's the process like?
Yeah, so my medium abilities opened up like a floodgate randomly one day, and I was very uncomfortable with it, like very uncomfortable. Like a lot of people are, a lot of people don't realize we have so much power in when we can talk to spirit and when they can come to us and we can tell them to go away. And this also goes for like ghosts in your house too. You can tell them to just leave and they have to leave. They have to listen to you. But I started having like the spirit of my ex's brother who died in a tragedy following me. And I was like, I'm turning the corner and I just keep seeing him out of the corner of my eye. And I was like, am I imagining this? And then I wound up going to like a gallery event that my cousin does. And he's like, I'll call the guy Joe. He's like, Joe, who is Joe? And I was like, oh my God, it's real. I was like, it's real. So I started taking mediumship classes because I wanted to learn how to control this. And I can close the gate and close the communication with them. And then in readings and stuff, I can open it. And there are certain situations, and I had one last week with my dietitian. I was at her office seeing her. And when spirit comes in for me, the air feels like thick. Like, and my vision starts to go like a little blurry. And she was and I can't pay attention to crap because they just are like calling. And she was talking. And I was like, oh my God, why is spirit coming in right now? And I said to her, I was like, hold on. I can't listen to what you're saying. I can't respond to it. Like my brain turns into scrambled eggs, and like talking to spirit's the only thing I can concentrate on when it does happen. But like I had to sit there and be like, no, my energy is grounded. This is not the time to talk. You might be here for her, but I'm not doing this right now. So it's really controllable when you can do it. Like people think about like, what's her face? The Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo, whatever. And how she's like in the grocery store getting messages from like somebody's grandma while the person's like picking out lettuce. I'm like, it's not like that. She allows that to happen in those situations. So yeah, it's not like it just, like if you walk around and you're an open channel, you're not only going to have problems with like entities coming in and like spirits coming in, but your brain's going to be really affected and your body's going to be really affected because we're not supposed to be walking around like that.
Wow, so fascinating.
It is.
Our youngest talks about seeing ghosts in our house sometimes.
Aww.
So I was like, oh, cool. Did you say hi? Like,
Yeah, and that's such a great way to approach it too, because children are completely open when they're born
yeah.
to the spirit world, which proves everybody can communicate. And it's great not to act scared or be like, oh, that's probably your imagination, because then if she wants to, it's almost cool for her to have that channel. Because then she can be guided by her own intuition as well, and by like if spirit is talking to her.
Yeah. You just have to, sometimes she said some stuff like in front of your family, and then of course this family's like, that's not real.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to happen. That's just because people are really scared of it.
Yeah.
They're like, no, that can't be real. But yeah, it's absolutely 100% real.
Yeah. It makes me wonder too, as a child, I had two imaginary friends. They were very real for me, you know. I remember what they looked like, but you know, I have read that kids are very open to spirits, and it gets shut down by adults, and then it's, you know, it's closed off for them. But my parents were very supportive of my imaginary friends, and so I appreciate them for that. But
yeah, who knows? It totally could have been just some playful spirits that were around you, that it could have been like your spirit guides, or, you know, other random spirits that were in the house. No, I find that stuff so cool, because I don't remember a lot of stuff like that from when I was younger.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, Jackie, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Oh man, this has been really fun.
Yeah, listen, I'm up for, like, I love talking about whatever in like an energetic perspective. So if you wanted to do this again, I'm totally up for it.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be
thank
great.
you so much.
And how can guests and listeners find you?
Yeah, so I am the host of the Healing Bitch podcast, which is now on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Very exciting. YouTube does make me bleep out the bitch, though. If you want to get in touch with me, my email is thehealingbpodcast@gmail.com. Same, Gmail does not accept bitch. But I'm also on Instagram at the Healing Bitch Podcast, and Healing Guidance Jackie, which is my business page for all of my services.
And that brings us to the end of today's podcast episode. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Before we go, we want to take a minute and express our deepest gratitude to all of our incredible guests and listeners. Thank you for being part of our podcast family and sharing your stories with us. If you found value in today's episode, please consider supporting us by subscribing to the podcast so you never miss a new episode. Please leave us a review. Your reviews are like love notes to our podcasting hearts. All of our guests are here voluntarily and not a current or former client of Miranda. If you'd like to be a guest, we'd love to have you. Please reach out to us via email, loveafterlullabies@gmail.com, or DM us on Instagram, and our handle is @loveafterlullabies. While you're there, click on that follow button so you can get all the latest updates and behind the scenes content, and your hanging chair updates. See you next time.
So she got burgers in her ears.